So I wanted to share a little bit about our homeschooling journey. It didn't come as a plan for us, and it's been so interesting interacting with many people on Instagram and getting people's sense of what homeschooling is. There's very different schools of thought around homeschooling, and again, in all the things that I teach, there's nothing prescriptive about it, which means there's no rules. So it's not like if you've got your child at a forest school and you're kind of, connected parenting them a little bit more, that you're not doing your own version of homeschooling. People get very boxy about things like, well, what does it look like and what does it mean? It's different to every single family. Like, we're in a group of a number of homeschooling families at the moment here in Dubai, and everyone's setup looks different. And I think that's the beauty of it. Like, there are no rules. So I'm not going around telling everyone to take your kid out of the private school or the state school that they're in and start tying an apron around your waist and teaching your children from home. No, not at all. What I am saying is just become connected to your child's education journey. That is it. Like, just understand whether they're happy or sad. Log into the ways that they're working, where they're being fulfilled and where they're kind of potentially really unhappy. And not all children are unhappy at school. My son was perfectly fine. He enjoyed his time, but it was a more innate feeling inside of him that I picked up on, around struggling and being boxed and sitting in front of a desk. And he turned to me and said, like, is this how it's going to be for me for the rest of my life, like sitting in this room staring at a board? And I thought, sure, but I had feelings of that as a child. I really did. And I felt I really wanted to create more and do more, and I had those opportunities in pockets in my life, but I was a really conditioned A-type child, which meant I thrived in school, as did my husband. He went on to be head boy of some of the top schools in England and then went on to Harvard. So we're not like fools around education and the importance of your child being exposed to the world and having opportunity. But it's a very different world we live in now. And I guess our route to homeschooling was about being more connected to what is real and what is not, and seeing outside of the system. And to be honest, it took a massive event like Corona, whatever that was all about, to help me be brave enough to know that not everything has to be done by everyone in the same way. Like, school is a range of different businesses and companies that need to make a lot of money, and they need to make profits and have a bottom line. And I've spoken to millions of parents that have that sense that schools are businesses. And if you don't know that, then you should look into that. There's a resource I'll recommend below, a book that you could read about how in the last 100 years schooling has very much become this idea that children are removed away from their home and the community, and they are kind of kept in classrooms looking at boards all day long and taught stuff that's not particularly relevant in life. And that doesn't mean that what my children are doing is better. Our kids are learning project-based learning, which means they want to learn about the moon, and they want to learn about planets, and they want to learn about history and different countries. And it just means that their project-based learning is something that interests them. So if we traveled to Greece as a family for a beautiful wedding last year, and we did project-based learning about Greece, I've never seen a 5 and a 7-year-old pick up more information on a country than of those two boys who were going to that country and who were going to experience those things. And yeah, maybe that is like first world luxury. It highly likely is. But I'm able to do that for my children. Like, I'm able to answer that call. And our homeschooling does not look like me staying at home and teaching the children. I have 3 companies that I run that are my own, all very different, and my husband is an entrepreneur, and so we just lean on the support of the community and people that can help us. And so we worked with a beautiful tutor from a heart-based learning center. They came in and assessed our children. I've spoken a bit about it, and by assessed I don't mean made them write a test to understand the capabilities and their aptitude, but rather sat with them and played a game of chess and spoke about the world and asked them if they could speak Spanish and told them to design their dream house out of Lego. Like, that is the kind of stuff that I would measure a 5 and a 7-year-old on in terms of capability. Ability to be resilient, ability to reason and debate, ability to speak, about their life in a normal and self-assured way. And when I saw that assessment that went on, by the way, for 4 or 5 hours in our own home, I also saw that there was a lot of issues around testing and assessments in the schooling system that cleans out people that are of no value to that school because they need to show a set of results. So for any of you that have had your children treated specifically to pass certain tests or exams to get in certain schools that you believe would make the difference to your child, or that you feel your child should go to because, I don't know, everyone says that's where they should go, and your kid didn't get in, then you can understand that they likely don't know your child, because I would bet that there's nothing holding your child back from going to that school and being absolutely beautiful and diligent and do really, really well and shine. But the markers for school at the moment are very, very different to what they should be. And the least of the worries of school is the emotional groundedness of that child and their ability to reason and think out the box and be different. Because everyone who's marginally different in the school system is pushed aside and they are treated as though they need special care. There's a special word for them. They, whatever that word might be, there's millions of them, you choose one. And they have to kind of go through life having that feeling of, I'm not like everyone else. What I want is I want those children to go through life going, thank the Pope in Rome, I'm not like everyone else. I am sensational. And if I was like everyone else, I would be devastated. Because that is what I'm trying to achieve for my children. And that is my mission. And it doesn't have to be anyone else's. And that is that they are grateful for all the flaws and grateful for all the things that make them quirky and stand out. Because it's those people of the world that make the massive difference when you're out of the system, when you're out of like who's popular and who's cool and who's got this and who's got that and who can sit down and parrot fashionly recite a whole bunch of examples or notes or tests, you know. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh about the situation. Will things change for our family? Who knows? Our kids are young. And I can tell you this, when they were at home in London learning with a tutor, we hustled and bustled them around in the afternoons and they loved it. Swimming, tennis, different social activities, pottery, guitar, that they were doing where they got to interact with other people. And here in Dubai, we are supported by a beautiful international homeschooling group that they attend 5 days a week, which means everything around where they go, the ethos is the same. So homeschooling does not mean keeping your child at your kitchen table 9 hours a day. So many of the homeschooling moms always talk about it. Like, it doesn't mean that the kids don't leave the house. Like, the kids learn and explore by being and doing. So it's using different materials that I learned from a really lovely mom, where my children attend these homeschool programs, and she was saying it's about the materials you present with your child. And also, in the very early stages of life, I don't think the school system, or at least our parenting and societal system, especially in more built up and affluent cities, has learned to appreciate the power of boredom in children. Boredom breeds creativity, breeds curiosity. It breeds all those beautiful, inquisitive energies that is what makes people discover things like the light bulb and electricity and electric cars and all these beautiful things that have like made our lives so much better. So if you're not allowing your children to be bored and you're constantly filling up their time until 7 o'clock at night so that they could pass out in their bed, it's a mistake, in my opinion. I think that children need space to clarify and, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Adapt to, regulate. Those are the words that come to mind. And a lot of children are just pushed from one thing to the next. And then they're going to school on Saturdays, and then they're doing this and the next thing. And there's no space for real creativity and for boredom and real curiosity. And from what I know is, I was bored a lot as a child. I used to phone my mom every single day. We're so bored. And she used to come up with all these beautiful ideas that sparked me wanting to be an entrepreneur, painting rocks and selling them, making lemons from the lemon juice outside the back tree. Like, those more basic things are lost in our modern world, although there are elements of it. And I had my children selling their little stones and necklaces outside our house in in Fulham for many, many years. But all I'm trying to say to you is to connect to your own child. Not everyone's kids will suffer at school. I did really well. As a deputy head girl, straight A student. But when I look back, I was conditioned to be that way because I believed that I was more worthy and more valuable and more lovable if I succeeded and achieved. And so that's what I did. Is that healthy? I don't know. You tell me.